what have you been learning about rest recently?
I really enjoyed sitting on the conference committee this year, and one of my colleagues asked this wonderful question. She said, "What does it mean for God to rest?" He's not finite like we are. We know he doesn't get tired. He doesn't get weary. He's not stressed. He's not overburdened. So that question just became really curious to me. What does it mean that God rested? So I did what any wise person would do. I went to Google and I asked, what does it mean that God rested? Looking for some sermons to see if I could find out more of what that was in Genesis. I came across this fantastic sermon by Tim Keller. It was just a snippet where he was taking us through the creation account, and he was talking about every day after God made something, he looked over it and he said it was good. And after 6 days, he looks over all of his creation. He says it's very good. And then he rested. And Tim just makes this beautiful point that rest for God was taking complete and utter delight and satisfaction in what he had done. And it just struck me that part of rest is actually delighting, having complete and utter satisfaction in what has been done. And again, as a finite creature, that's not really possible for me to have complete satisfaction in what I have done. It's always going to be flawed. There's always going to be more to do. But there is something to that I think the Lord wants for his people. So I just began to be praying and asking the Lord more, help me understand this. What does this mean for me? And I came away with 2 big takeaways. And the first was just really having gratitude to the Lord, practicing that at the end of the day or after a parenting moment with a child, cooking a meal, just being thankful and being satisfied in what the Lord allowed to happen that day or in that interaction, and having eyes to see what was done versus what was undone, and being thankful for the progress that the Lord has allowed me to make in a day, and to have eyes to see what he is doing more than what I am doing. I think more foundationally, what I learned was that I can be utterly and completely satisfied in what the Lord has done on my behalf. There's so many treasures I already possess in my relationship with Christ. Those Ephesians 1 riches that I've been adopted. I am loved, redeemed, forgiven. I have a glorious inheritance. I have a wonderful assurance. I've been gifted wisdom. There's so many treasures about what he has already done. And in Christ, those things are actually already mine. And if I understand what it is to live from that, I can live rested because I can live at the joy of what already has been accomplished. At the same time, I was reading some Sinclair Ferguson on the union of Christ, and he was talking about how the devil is always trying to, because he can't take away our salvation, he still attacks us. And the 2 ways he attacks us is through our assurance, and he tries to rob us of the joys of our salvation. Just really struck me how easy I am to be deterred away from experiencing the joys of my salvation because I don't live fully out of the knowledge of what it is to be in Christ. And when I do, I can live with that complete rest, looking at my life and saying it is good and it will be good because of what he has done.